What up, guys?
What up, guys?
What up, guys? Welcome to the jungle today. Yeah. Again, today we changed the location as well.
Yeah, welcome to the Sunder podcast.
Yeah. Welcome to
Yeah.
the Sonder podcast.
Well, in this season,
Yeah.
we aim to question different aspects of life, like life questions that we always ask about ourselves or ask our parents when we were a kid,
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
and then try to answer it in the moment. No preparation.
Not at all.
I don't do that.
No,
I'm pretty sure Tom's don't do that as much as I know you.
Considering the situation,
Yeah,
no, I haven't.
considering I know you, so we're gonna talk
yeah.
about
Insecurities.
insecurities.
Ton.
Wow,
What,
that's a
what
hard one.
Yeah, powerful topic. I
That is a
think.
powerful topic.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about? What do you have in mind? Oh, can we describe what does insecurity mean?
What is an insecurity? Yeah.
Not I don't mean the point of view that you have toward it.
Yeah.
If we go on the dictionary, for example,
Yeah.
what would be the definition of insecurity?
Do
you have something in mind?
What would be the definition of insecurity? I think it's that one thing that like maybe bothers you sometimes and that makes you feel certain types of emotions while you're thinking of it.
Mm.
I would try to describe it like that.
But if we want to say, for example, the definition of like a literal word of it would be probably that you don't feel stable or secure
About something.
about something or
Yeah.
about the situation that you have at the
Yeah.
moment,
In-
right?
Let's divide it into insecure.
Insecure.
So secure. What is secure? Secure is security.
Secure, that means that like you are sure or you are certain about something, or
Yeah, it's
Someone
it's the
or-
certainty aspect.
it's just a certainty aspect.
Yeah, and in would be what? In would be inside, in your head. Yeah, that like you know that there's this thing that is concrete into your life. But
Well,
at the
is there
same
something
time,
concrete? Is there something concrete in life at all? That's also a question, right?
that's also a question. Yeah.
I don't see anything concrete in life, honestly. I think everything is uncertain in life. And
Yeah.
I think we always try to be certain about stuff and people and our lives, and
Yeah.
therefore we become insecure because we seek certainty and security. We seek it.
Yeah.
Therefore, we become insecure because we are like, oh, there is not a security. Therefore, I have to seek, I have to look for it. Then, when you have to look for security, then that means that like you're insecure, that you're looking for insecurity, right?
Yeah, but I think we can look at this as well from the other point of the perspective that like you have like I'm thinking of like, for example, everybody has like the things they feel insecure about, like I don't know, the form of their nose, the eye color,
Yeah.
there could be a lot of different things, and maybe it's that one thing that like sticks with you constantly, that maybe creates that you think about it, and then afterwards it creates like kind of this insecure feeling about it, because like, oh shit, I can't change it.
Yeah.
Maybe in
there
that
is
way as
no,
well.
in that moment, there is no immediate solution.
Yeah,
Therefore, you don't,
you can't
you feel
resolve it
insecure.
really.
You feel insecure in that moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe that's that could be as well. Like, I don't know, and then height, size of the feet. I don't. Yeah.
size of
Like, yeah. But
size of the feet.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think
I have a
that
big
could be. What's your size, man? I have 43. Well,
I am 43 actually.
43 is. Well, that's not that good.
That's-
That's not that bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. Anyway, I kind of feel that I kind of feel though we need security in order to function. Because, for example, in order to think clearly, you need to have a secure mind or a secure situation
Mm-hmm.
in order to think.
Yeah, to
For
be
example,
able
if
to this like taking into the consideration all the
yeah,
possible
yeah,
like situations.
because imagine if you didn't have a house, or like you didn't have enough money, or you didn't have shelter, like clothes or anything, something like that.
Yeah.
The first thing you could think of all
Yeah.
the time is those, because those are basic physical securities,
Yeah.
exterior securities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that makes sense, because when you don't have those securities, you kind of need to seek for it, because
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, if we take an example, if you don't have a place to stay, for example, and you're
yeah.
arriving here, I can like share this example from my personal perspective. The first time that I arrived at Nice, I was supposed to have already an apartment here,
Mm-hmm.
but when I arrived, the landlord was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but I already gave it to someone else." I was like, "Oh, okay." Um, this is a situation,
It is a situation.
And then, yeah, I just, stayed all day in the cafe looking for apartments, and I found it.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was
Because like,
crazy experience,
because
man.
yeah, I mean, because you kind of need to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you need shelter in order to have a
Yeah.
minimum clarity in your mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
'Cause,
Like,
like, if
at
you
least
don't
I have a
have-
place to stay,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
at
yeah.
least I have place to stay, and then you can
Yeah.
think of, for example, all right, like, oh, I should study business, I should study art, I should do that,
Yeah,
I should
yeah,
do
yeah.
this,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Otherwise you don't really like have the ability to do that. So I want to separate these security, like, which is exterior and
Mhm.
physical, and the security that we kind of need to feel inside ourselves,
Mhm.
like inside of our minds. Otherwise,
Yeah.
that's also cause malfunction in us.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you're not feeling secure inside of yourself, you cannot really decide either. You cannot really, like, not decide, but like function properly, sanely in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of so like as we separated
Mhm.
the
The physical.
physicality,
Yeah.
what is the security that we could have in a psyche?
Um.
Is there a security in a psyche?
Yeah, I think we can look to this point from a perspective where, uh, well, humans are social creatures, right?
Okay.
And I would say that like it makes me feel more secure if I know that I have like a good social social circle around me, like
Okay.
a good like family, for example, or friends or whatever. That could like be one of the psychological distinctions of it, right? Because if you like,
About security.
yeah, 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 like the feeling of the security that okay, yeah, at least like I'm not gonna be, all alone somewhere because it's really difficult to like sometimes, yeah, even, but yeah, there's also a paradox in that because sometimes you can feel like much more lonely even in a social setting.
Of course.
And
course.
that is the our society's biggest problem. I think one of the biggest problems right now because
Um, I
considering
don't,
the
I don't, I
social
don't
media
think,
and all that.
like, well, there is a distinction. I figured
Yeah,
that there is a distinction between feeling lonely
yeah,
and being alone.
yeah,
Because when you feel lonely, that means that there is something wrong.
yeah,
There is something that it's not aligned with your environment
yeah,
and with yourself, especially.
yeah, yeah,
But when you want to be alone or be alone, that's like a different thing, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because yeah, obviously you can like feel good also while being completely alone.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
why do you think that is? Like, why do we feel lonely?
Why do we feel lonely?
Have you ever, like, thought
Have you
about
ever
this?
felt lonely? No, no, it's
Of
like,
I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But
Course.
yeah, I don't. I mean, I think the reason why this is like an actual thing that's happening is that a lot of times people tend to seek external validation and the reciprocity of the others to make them like feel more in line with everything in their lives, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because usually we tend to project ourselves to others, and they project ourselves to us, and then we're just like returning the favor by showing them, oh, okay, yeah, in this situation you reacted like this.
That is a really interesting point
Yeah,
that you're
yeah, yeah.
pointing out. The projection.
And and for example, from the other person's perspective, I reacted in this kind of situation like this, and then yeah, I think it's the yeah, social factor that also is like hugely included in all this as well. Like we're seeing ourselves by communicating with the the external world
Mm-hmm.
around us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I
what do you think about this?
I also like feel that being lonely means when you are not uh feeling yourself
Yeah,
completely
yeah, yeah.
as you want to be, you know,
Mm.
in the environments or in the group of people that you're with.
Yeah.
Um, and loneliness comes from this like very deep rooted fear
Yeah, yeah. The fear
of
is a crucial
crucial,
aspect of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and being yourself completely.
Mm.
Because I don't think it's not that easy to be yourself completely,
Yeah.
as we are so conditioned by our past and our society, our parents, our friends, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as we are a kid and we are unconscious and unaware of our environment,
Mm-hmm.
so many stuff happens around us that like this situations and uh, this environment can kind of like provides um, provides patterns for us
Mm-hmm.
in order to function in the world.
Yeah.
And then like when you, for example, lack something in your past, or like when you were a kid because you were unaware of it, this lacking becomes a pattern in your adulthood and like adolescence life, you know.
Yeah.
And then, for example, you choose people based on those lackings and those gaps inside of yourself
That you're trying to fill up.
to
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
exactly that you're trying to fill up. And then you can't really fill it up, or
Mm-hmm.
like you cannot really like fill that gap up, and you cannot really expect people to fill that gap for you up.
No, yeah, yeah. You have to do it like all by yourself.
Exactly. And then therefore that gap uh stays there,
Mm-hmm.
and that emptiness inside you, like it's this I think that's the source of being lonely,
Yeah.
because you don't really like come back to it and see what you have to do in yourself
Mm-hmm.
to not seek that in other people.
Yeah.
Therefore you become a whole.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
whole, you feel that gap by yourself.
Mm.
And then when you feel that gap by yourself, you don't feel lonely anymore.
Yeah.
Like then loneliness comes from that gap, from that like emptiness, that from that void inside
Yeah,
you.
and from that comes as well like the need of external validation.
Exactly.
I think.
External validation is all about those conditioning that we have in the past.
Yeah, because it's well, honestly, it is really difficult just to sit with your own self.
It is. Life is difficult.
Yeah, 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 and just to actually try to understand like the thing that's bothering you, right? Because
Yeah. Absolutely.
you
We talked about it last time. If you remember,
yeah, yeah,
it's quite courage to sit with yourself.
yeah, 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 and I think we had this well a type of this discussion also in one of our like the first podcast as well. Like, do you remember when we were talking about like the thing that usually when something's going like completely wrong, people tend to like try to buy self-help books and all that.
Exactly.
Shit.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
a form of running away
Yeah, yeah,
as you feel when you feel empty. For example, we indulge ourselves in so many different things,
yeah. Like, yeah.
like I don't know, seeking validation in friends,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
can call them friends.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
cause cause if you are in a friendship or in a relationship because of the void that you have inside yourself, you're not really attracted to the person itself or to the
You're
friend.
attracted to the void.
Yeah, you are attracted to the
Shit. Yeah.
to the feeling that they feel up
Mm-hmm.
that gap and that
Yeah.
void inside you.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
attracted to the mirror of yourself because you are, for example, imagine
Mm-hmm.
you want to be outgoing. Like you have this gap of being outgoing, and because of your conditioning in the past, you cannot
Yeah.
really do it because you're shy, for
Yeah.
instance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then you see that like outgoing person in like and then like you create a relationship with them, and that outgoingness is a source of energy for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It fills up that gap,
Mm-hmm.
and you fall in love with that version of that person.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not really like falling in love with that version of that, like that's not really falling in love with that person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You kind of falling in love with the person that you cannot be,
Yeah, that's, yeah, it is. Yeah.
and you're seeking it in somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And
You're looking for
that
that external thing
that exactly
that you don't
becomes
have.
exactly that becomes the source of loneliness. And you can also see insecurity in this as well.
Yeah,
In
completely.
this patterns that we're talking about. If you think about it, um like insecurity is coming from the fear of being, as we said, I think insecurity is the fear of being yourself completely. I don't see anything else, honestly.
Yeah, because yeah. Normally, well, considering that we are living in this in the society as well, where taking part of certain ethnicities, certain groups, certain social circles, right? And
Mm.
then in that moment, to be able to be part of that little social circle that you have, well, it's not like a thing that you 100% like need to have, but like people usually tend to adapt to the environment they're in.
Conformity.
Yeah. Yeah, it all
course.
comes back. It
Of
all
course,
comes back. Yeah, yeah.
and
All these episodes
you
are
should
connected.
you should go and watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you
Damn.
know, it's funny when we go back to conformity, for example, again.
That's
When you talk about this stuff, all of it,
yeah.
all this like questions that we always ask in the podcast,
Yeah.
they're all connected. They're all
They're-
interconnected with each
that's-
other.
It
Like
is.
you can see the cycle of, like, for example, insecurity, conformity, like, I don't know,
fear,
fear,
yeah,
anxiety,
yeah,
all,
yeah,
like
yeah. Stress,
all of that
everybody,
relationship that comes
yeah,
along with it.
I
All
think
of it
we're
is
gonna
connected.
write a book after this.
All of it is connected. And
yeah.
but I think it would take forever to, like, try to analyze every aspect of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, completely.
Is
Because
this,
there has been
is this
so many examples, so many different types of, for example, even insecurities that we can have,
Yeah.
right? So many different types of relationships you can have, so many different types of anxiety that you can have.
Yeah.
Like, it's, yeah, it would take a lot of time.
Take a lot of time. It's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
It takes a great awareness to
Yeah.
realize this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But what is the antidote to insecurity?
Insecurity.
What
What would
can
you
you
say?
do?
What would be the antidote? Yeah.
I absolutely think the security is important. Like, you need to have security.
Okay.
right?
Insecurity in what sense exactly? Like
Security and psyche. We
in
talked about
psyche,
the
the
we talked
physical
about the
we are leaving
physical.
out.
Yeah,
Okay,
of
okay.
course you need that absolutely,
Yeah.
but you also need security in the psyche. But how would you reach that security? That's the question.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not reachable. Maybe it's just there. We are like as I said at the start of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like seeking the security itself is insecurity. Maybe we already have that security. We just don't see it.
Yeah.
Cause,
Yeah,
uh,
but maybe
'cause
you're just not able to see it, right? Yeah.
yeah, maybe you're just not able to see it because you are filled with this desires and tendencies to move towards something better all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the have the feeling of a purpose in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, even like while I'm like while you and we're living in Nice, we're probably like thinking of a lot of different things that we can do here to it's like explore more our horizons, right?
Yeah.
And to see something like different, something because um from my own personal perspective, I've had this feeling that I'm like well, yeah, that like the feeling that I had was like that I'm kind of stuck in the environment that I'm in. It was a while back. And then I kind of tried to think about like the reasons why I'm thinking that I'm stuck in that space. And that like comes back directly to our conversation about anxiety and about like fear of like future predictions, for example, or the just the stress of not being able to reach something that you really want to reach.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff like eventually creates insecurities, and then they're like kind of stuck with you while you resolve just until the moment when you resolve them. That's what I think
Uh,
maybe.
I think also resolving them doesn't mean that um I don't feel analyzing and um yeah, I don't feel analyzing the insecurities would resolve something, honestly. I do feel that if you understand what is um if you understand deeply, if you could see it clearly,
Mm.
that what is anxiety,
Yeah.
you can just drop it.
Yeah. Yeah. The awareness aspect of it.
The,
Yeah.
yeah, the awareness aspect, yeah, exactly. If you're like, it can come back.
Obviously,
It
it's
can,
gonna come back.
it's gonna come back,
Yeah.
but uh, it's kind of like it's funny, cause it feels like we are fooling ourselves.
It's the practice of maybe self-regulation as well.
Yeah, it's like you're fooling yourself. Like you, in the moments you realize, for example, there is nothing that you can be anxious about,
Yeah, and then you're like, oh no,
and then
but
like
there
yeah,
is.
but and then like maybe in a moment or in an hour or through the time you forget that you just realize that there's nothing to be anxious about,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you forget about it, and you feel like lost again,
Yeah.
and then you find it again, and then you feel lost again, and you
Yeah,
feel
it's a
it's kind of
never ending
it's a never, yeah,
story.
exactly, it's a never ending story, and it's kind of funny though.
It is.
There's a irony in this
There
in
are
this
there is,
life
yeah. Yeah,
that we
yeah.
cannot really deny it.
Yeah, because sometimes you think that in your specific situation you're like you kind of don't know what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong, but at the same time if you look back at look back at all of the things that you have done to actually be at that specific situation, that like kind of relieves you, I think, in some way. At least for me it works like that. Like sometimes when I'm like thinking of, oh yeah, I woke up today and what could be my insecurity today. But yeah, sometimes when I think about that, I'm like, I mean, at the end of it, it's not really an insecurity. It's like the energy of your body that you like don't use, and then it like runs into your head and starts like create all these
Of
fake
course,
ass
of
scenarios.
course, of course. I absolutely agree, because I think the balance that you need to require, like, not the require, sorry, acquire, right?
Acquire, yeah.
The balance that you need to acquire, it's it's absolutely necessary.
It is. Yeah.
Like what you, for example, what you eat, or
Mhm.
what do you do, what kind of exercises you do, or
Yeah.
like, um, if you are like, it's funny that uh, I've been realizing that, like, how much energy I waste in my day
Mhm.
thinking about the stuff that it doesn't really matter,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then those, like, wasted energies are like the those wasted energies are like could be used in a more sensible way,
Mhm.
to be more responsible, for example,
Yeah.
to be
Or yeah.
to be more, as we talked before this podcast, to be more affectionate,
Mhm.
to be more sensitive,
Mhm.
to be
Yeah.
more, like, aware
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah.
And I don't think there is anything else than awareness that could solve all these problems,
Yeah.
honestly.
Because it really like really good explains the fact as well that like sometimes when you're like at home all alone, you start thinking of all these things, all these insecurities, all these like different thoughts in your head, and then at one moment you find yourself so like tense,
Tensed up,
and
yeah.
then and you continue, you like you even think more of them and more and more and more, and if you don't have the awareness, mental hospital, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of it,
Yeah,
it could.
because yeah, like
And I should also mention that, like, we should also be careful also when we say something.
yeah.
I think. What I mean by awareness doesn't mean that, for example, you judge the mind that it creates insecurity.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it
Cause
more.
yeah, cause, like, for example, when you start judging the mind that creates the insecurity, you create anxiety.
Yeah.
Cause anxiety is a form of feeling, or is a form of thought,
Mhm.
that you bring to the moment, right?
Mhm.
Because you are in a certain way, and then, like, you bring a thought which is a ideal
Of that
of
thing.
that
Yeah.
of that, like, which you are in the moment,
Yeah.
and then you try to move from what you are to something that you are not.
Yeah.
Therefore you become anxious,
Yeah. The
because you feel
align the
helpless.
two things together.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you feel helpless. Then you create a cycle for yourself.
Mhm.
That's not really awareness anymore.
No.
Because
Yeah.
awareness is like you stay with it,
Yeah.
without a judgment.
Even if you want to like be this better version of yourself, for example, right? Um, it doesn't really change a thing if you're like try to catch it.
No,
It
it
doesn't
doesn't.
change a thing.
It doesn't. It's I don't know. I don't know how. I really don't know. Maybe it's one day. maybe
Maybe
maybe,
one
maybe
day.
I know, but I'm like fooling you and fooling myself, but I don't know. Maybe we all know, right?
Yeah.
But there is no way I could say that the change, like the change that happens effortlessly,
Mhm.
but by not pushing and pressuring and forcing yourself
Yeah.
to do it, it doesn't really happen, um as you said also, like, it doesn't really happen, that change doesn't really happen by forcing it, or by, like, judging
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
by
That's a
trying.
really important thing
Yeah,
to
it
distinguish. Yeah.
exactly, it happens naturally,
Yeah.
and as much as you can stay with it, um without judgment,
Yeah.
it's the point, it's the source of that change.
Yeah, that's the natural thing about it because you're not like constantly looking over it and then try to find a way to get to that point eventually.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah, because you know it's funny. I have been thinking, and I've been talking to some people.
Mm-hmm.
I have people in my life that they they have a way of changing.
Yeah.
You know, everybody probably have already a way of trying to change themselves,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Some people do it by force, really.
Yeah.
They're like they discipline, like
yeah.
they are
Yeah.
disciplined.
That's
They're
one
like,
approach.
yeah, they are like, oh yeah, I have to force myself or like push myself to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I I I can't do that.
I think
In
it's
my
also it's not
in
healthy
my
to do
personal,
it.
I don't think it is.
No.
Honestly, no, nothing against those people who do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But in my situation, in my case, for example, that doesn't really work out for me
yeah.
to like force myself to change something in myself.
Yeah. Because for how long you are gonna be able to continue that
Yeah,
specific thing,
exactly. And it's kind of fake. It's kind of like I hate this sentence that they say, "Fake it till you make it," because it doesn't really make sense to me. Because I don't like to be like that. I don't feel natural to be like that.
Do you think it's like directly associated with this discipline thing? Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I mean the wrong approach to the word and to the way of living that we created for ourselves. We
Yeah.
call it disciplined life. I don't think that does. You know what discipline means?
The discipline. It's I would say it's consistency. It's repetition. It's
Well,
you know.
discipline, the word itself means that like learning,
Yeah.
like constant learning.
Learning. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Disciple. It
Mm.
comes from the word disciple.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
disciples are the ones who learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't have any like approach to the way that we think of discipline today. Does it?
Yeah.
When you talk about like, oh, you should be disciplined,
Yeah.
like doesn't mean you should be learning today.
Yeah.
In the sense that we describe it today. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but let's talk about more about the phrase "fake it till you make it" because I had some interesting idea
Tell me.
about it. Yeah, for sure. This is a kind of fake path to what you want to achieve. That I'm completely sure about. But I think there is also this aspect of kind of free spirit in it as well.
To
Because
fake it till you make it.
Yeah, because like you're in some way you're like trying to get to a point where you want to be, but at the same time you're not in it, and then there's this space between like those two things, and then in that space you're like, well, at least that's in my personal opinion, is that like there's this kind of free space that's like roaming around, and you can like continue like the same cycle and try to get to this one. I don't know, the summer body. Let's take a summer body example, right? And fake it till you make it. Well, that one you can't really fake it. That one you can't really. Yeah. What would be the good, better example about it? Yeah, I don't.
The
Just
fake it till you
standing in
make
front
it.
of
For
the mirror.
example, fake it till you make it.
Standing in front of the mirror saying.
You could, for example, you know, it's funny. When I said it like out loud in my head,
Yeah.
fake it till you make it. It's very like associated with confidence,
Yeah, it is.
which the word of confidence and like
Borderline delusional.
it is. I mean, I
Staying
don't
the
s-
Lolo is the
I
Sololo,
don't
guys.
think I don't think confidence is a. It's a very very like
We were having this discussion in
like privately
the beginning,
with
yeah.
ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. I think confidence is hyped. It's a hyped word.
Yeah.
It's a hyped concept, and it's just been created for you to feel good.
Yeah, maybe you can like try to re-explain it, because I remember that like we were talking about do you like what is confidence,
Like
and
when
from
you wanna
where confidence comes from, right?
when you wanna do a speech, for example,
Yeah.
like some people would be like, "Oh, you should be confident."
Yeah.
I don't see like any like good uh outcome for doing a good speech out of confidence. Like, like
Yeah.
I don't see it in the recipe
Mm-hmm.
of
Of
a good
success.
speech.
Yeah.
Why I don't see it? Because if you want to do a good speech,
Mm-hmm.
you practice and you become good at it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
practice of like talking,
Mm-hmm.
being more um slow and clear when you're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Use the words that are not vulgar,
Yeah.
or have a eye contact with people. Like you study how to be
Yeah.
a good speaker,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are
good
the
speaker,
yeah.
and then there's nothing about like confidence is like it comes in when you are like not really good at it.
Yeah.
You
And
you didn't
yeah,
really practice about it.
exactly. Yeah.
You didn't become good, and
Yeah.
you know that you're not good,
Yeah.
and you want to push yourself that you are good. You tell yourself, oh, you're good, you're good, you're good.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
keep repeating this to yourself in order to have this cosmic effect of like
Yeah, the fake it till you make it part.
yeah
Yeah.
to fake it till you make it,
Yeah, because the
which doesn't make
confidence.
any sense.
Yeah, because as you said, like confidence comes from practice. From
Confidence comes from like a repetition of
yeah of the thing that you want to learn.
yeah,
Right.
and it's just
Yeah, and then you're like that's
it's kind of
kind of
like a
funny. Yeah.
it's like a empty word.
Yeah.
It's a empty. It's a waste of energy.
Yeah, because you can like also like confidently take out trash. For example,
Yeah.
you can be confident about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna take out this trash today.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's the like the funny aspect of it as well. Like
Yeah.
I was trying to like make this connection to it as well, right? But yeah. Um,
What do you
it,
think?
what's the time? I think it's
I think it's a
it's a
good
good-
wrap.
yeah,
What
me
do you
too.
think?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should talk about this like I don't know. Like every time we come here and we want to talk about something, there are so
Yeah.
when you enter one aspect of this like questions, you like you see a vast like sea or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you're lost in it kind of.
Mm-hmm. It's a big map of multiple destinations.
Exactly. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm so sorry if I got confusing by like jumping from this to that.
No, but like it is like that. Like all the episodes that you can like, for example, right now see on our YouTube channel, they're like all connected in some way.
They are.
So
They are. And
you can like go back to one of them. You can like rewatch them. You can like listen to this one and think, oh yeah, I heard like
it's
they're,
lovely to talk about this stuff.
yeah, it is really interesting. And as we learn as well while talking about it, we're just saying that like it's a huge, as you said, huge map of
Yeah, it
different
is. It is a
destinations and
huge map of
Yeah.
things.
different things and connections. Yeah.
And what do
Uh,
we have here today? Like a little brand bananas over
Yeah.
there. Like
Yeah.
like a little
This
monkey.
time we're sponsored by a shop that's called Utile. Yeah.
Is do you love do you love bananas?
Yeah. I actually really do. I used to make a lot of banana smoothies actually, like mixing them with strawberries and other things, making protein shake.
Mm.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
This is one of the sorry I started sooner sorry. This is one of the things that this is one of the fruits that I don't think if I see somebody like don't like bananas, I would be like, what kind of weird approach is that? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like I don't like pizza, for example.
Mm.
No, I do like pizza. I'm saying
Whoa.
if
You don't like
somebody
pizza?
if somebody says like I don't like pizza or I don't like ice cream, for example,
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say that like
I'm being very
actually a lot of people have intolerance
judgmental. But
intolerance about like eating
banana,
banana, yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah. Well, thank
Well,
you. Thank
guys,
you guys.
thank you very much.
Thank you being with us, listening to us as usual.
I hope this episode is useful.
No, it's gonna be. It's an interesting one.
Oh.
What's your insecurity? share it with us.
Yeah.
Write it down in comment section, and maybe like you can also
Yeah,
give us the topics
actually,
to talk about.
that's a good thing to. Yeah, I mean, share. What do you think?
Yeah,
What do you think insecurity is?
we're all in this together, and yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
See you guys.